Did you know that you could be leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table just because of the month you sold your house in? Stay tuned, and I'll tell you how to avoid losing that precious equity. Hey everybody, I'm Melanie Atkinson, Realtor with Compass in beautiful Tampa, Florida. Today is for all of you sellers who want to maximize the value of your house when it sells. We are always talking about the basics of getting your house ready to sell. Clean, declutter, repair things that are broken, maybe do some professional staging. But what if there's another factor that could mean thousands and thousands of dollars? That factor is timing. When you sell your house matters. Now, this may seem obvious to my friends in the northern markets where the winter months are always slower, but in Florida, our grass is always green and our palm trees don't lose their fronds. Technically, we have a pretty healthy year-round market, especially when you start to dig into the sales trends of different counties. Different areas sell better at different times. The same is true all over the country, but it will obviously vary depending on where you are. If you are a seller anywhere, you need to consider timing and do your research. Now, I'll warn you, the timing may be very different from what seems logical. Even if you aren't in Florida, stick with me as I go through the Tampa data, and I will highlight some areas that may surprise you and help you ask the right questions for your area. Before I get into everything, if you find any value to this video, please do me a favor and hit those subscribe and like buttons. For this episode, I looked at the last 10 years of median sales prices for each month. Plus, I broke down the data by the three biggest counties that I work in. Pinellas County, where the beaches Clearwater, St. Pete, and Dunedin are. Hillsborough County, the big county where the city of Tampa is. And Pasco County, which is north of those two, where Wesley Chapel, Land O'Lakes, and Newport Richey are. The first observation is an obvious one. If you are in a market where prices are steadily increasing, like we were between 2020 and 2023, you are going to see a large price increase from the start of the year to the end of the year. For instance, there was a 24% increase in sales prices from January 21 to December of 21. That's not the story I'm looking to tell because everyone knows that. It's just an increasing market. Just as the same would be true in a decreasing market, but it would be the opposite results. In a more balanced market, where are the opportunities for sellers? That's why I looked at the whole picture from the last 10 years. So what did I find? The month with the lowest median sales price for every year and for all three counties was January, followed by February, followed by March, followed by April. Like I said in the beginning, that may not surprise northerners, but for us in Florida, we are sunshiny and spectacular during those months. I totally expected the data to show that March and April were high sales price months because tourists come down in January and February, they fall in love with our weather and decide to move. What may actually be happening is they fall in love with our weather and then they move later in the year. Before I move on to the highest sales price months, I wanted to point out another interesting thing I noticed, and that is the obvious difference of just 1 month between December and January. Other than a few minor exceptions over 10 years, December sales prices are significantly more than January's. Why? There is always a rush to close by the end of the year. Most of the time, it's because of the financial benefits of owning or selling a home before the end of the year. In Florida, as long as you close on a home by December 31st, you can establish homestead on that property and get the property tax deductions for the next year. Also, for builders, if their fiscal year ends on December 31st, they are very motivated to get those homes closed, even if those homes aren't exactly perfect. There are certain years when the price differences are over $35,000 just for that 1 month difference. So on average, what are the highest sales price months in the Tampa area? In Pinellas County, it is November. In Pasco County, it's December. And in Hillsborough County, it is June. The last one makes total sense because Hillsborough County tends to have a lot of people that are moving during the summer break and they want to get into their new home before the start of our school year in mid-August. A lot of buyers in Hillsborough come down in the spring to house hunt and close in early summer. If you're a seller and you aren't aware of the fact that school starts fairly early here, you may miss that optimal window when buyers are most active. Even if schools are the farthest thing from your mind, knowing the start and stop of school schedules in your area, especially if you have a coveted school district, is important to maximize the value of your sale. Pinellas County was the most surprising one because my prediction would have been earlier in the year because of our busy tourist season. But the data shows that selling in the last 2 quarters of the year are far better than the first 2. Even though November was the highest median sales price, values were also high for closings in July, September, and December. So you get the best of both worlds in Pinellas. You get to enjoy the peak rental rates in the winter, or come down and enjoy the weather one more time, then sell in the summer or the fall. Pasco County is a harder one to predict because of its rapid suburban growth to the east and popular second home area on the coast. Its population is split. It mirrors Hillsborough in some areas and Pinellas in others. December had the highest median sales prices, but that was closely trailed by November and August. So as a seller, what should you take away from this data? Depending on where you are and what the motivations for the buyers are in your area, the timing of your sale could definitely affect your sales price. So if you don't know what the motivations are for the buyers in your area, make sure you're getting that information from your agent. It is reasonable to ask your agent for a monthly breakdown of median sales prices so you can see if there are any trends that may matter. Also, you need to start prepping well before the optimal times to sell. Take those winter months to get your house fully prepared. And make sure you list your house before those high months. Depending on your area, it may take a while to find a buyer. Study the average days on market and make sure you're accounting for those. Ultimately, timing can matter when it comes to your sales price. But just like anything, timing can be hard to predict. Buyers and sellers are constantly trying to see into the future, and it's really an impossible thing to do. I have seen sellers and buyers think way too long and hard about timing and end up missing their window. It is a factor to consider, but the best time to sell your house will always be when you need to sell your house and when a ready, willing, and able buyer is out there to buy it. I hope you guys got a few good nuggets from this episode. If you're looking for something else to watch on this channel, check out the episode I just did about the cheapest time for buyers to buy. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.